A few years ago, I lived in an apartment complex. I lived there for 2 years when this girl and her family moved into the apartment complex next to me. She could see my apartment and I could see hers. We'll call her Freckles. I had a lot of friends in the apartments, and I was with this one guy that I'd be on and off with all the time. We'll call him X. Well, me and the group would always be outside hanging out, and she would always be out there too, so eventually she ended up hanging out with us, and we all somewhat got along with her, so I was cool with it. Well, fast forward a few months later, and she ends up having to move back to her home state. I was sad because she was really cool and literally the only other female in the group. 2 days before she's supposed to leave, someone's knocking on my door. I answer, and it's some people from the group, and they tell me they need to tell me something. Then they tell me Freckles slept with X. I asked them how they know, and they said that she told them. So I went inside, and I was planning to confront both him and her. When I confronted X, he denied it all, but I didn't really believe him because he was always doing me dirty. So it's Freckles' last night in the apartments, and I wanted to confront her sooner, but she wasn't around. So her last night, she comes knocking on my door around 10 p.m. And when I answer, I tell her that I need to talk to her.
Story time about how I catfished all the popular boys in my grade and they found out about it. So a little background information. I was at a new school. I just started there probably like 4 months before this happened. And I was best friends with this one girl. We're going to call her Kate. And Kate had a crush on this guy. We're going to call him Alex. And he liked her back, but she wanted to see if he was loyal. Well, at least that's what it was supposed to be at first. But then he started to actually fall in love with this bitch. So then I started feeling bad and I told my friend that I just wanted to end it right there. And she was like, no, let's keep going. This is so funny. Mind you, this was the boy that she liked. So at that point, I was like, whatever. And then he asked to meet up at the mall. So then we took him on a whole goose chase around the whole mall. Like, we were like, oh, we're in this store. Never mind, we're in this one. And the only reason why we got away with it was because he thought he saw us in the one store. So then we broke up with him and we started talking to all the other popular boys. And on this fake account, we said that we went to a different school. Well, one of the kids at that school said that he never saw us there, like for part 2.
Part 2 of how I found out that I was dating my own brother. Continuing on with the story, me and his 9 months were coming up. Also, he was adopted and his foster family absolutely adored me, so they were okay with me keeping it a secret from my grandma. They were the ones to help me tell her. So not only were our 9 months coming up, but his birthday was the next day. And he told me the only thing that he wanted for his birthday was for my part of the family to know that we were together. So one day I sat down at the table and I was like, hey, I think it's about time that I tell you. And then I told her everything and she asked for a picture. I showed her a picture and she was like, aw, he's cute. How old is he? At first she was okay with everything and the age difference she was kind of iffy about, but then she accepted it. Then she asked his name. I told her his name, she said last name, gave her the last name, and she flipped out. She took my phone, didn't give me an explanation, and told me that if I ever spoke to him again, I would never be allowed out of the house. Finally, after she calmed down, she came to tell me that he was my brother. She asked if we had did anything, and I of course said no, but yes, we did. I'm running out of time, like for part 3.
Do you style your hair the same way every day? Well, there's an urban legend about a woman who always wore her hair in a bun, but for her, this habit would lead to something terrifying. This woman loved wearing her hair in a bun, but she might have taken it a bit too far. She didn't want to style her hair differently or even take out her bun to clean her hair. Whenever she took a shower, she would just wear a shower cap to make sure the water didn't mess up her bun. At night, she would sleep with a towel around her hair so the bun didn't move. After a while, she had to put hairspray in it to mask the smell. Then her scalp started feeling itchy, so she would put more hairspray in it. Even when the itching got intense, she just applied more hairspray. But her husband finally found out about how bad the situation had gotten when he woke up one day and his wife was still asleep. He tried to wake her up, but she wouldn't move. She had died in the middle of the night. The husband called the police, fearing that something unusual might have happened. But when her body was examined, they finally took out her bun. Inside her hair, they found something terrifying. They found a huge spider had gotten into her hair, made a nest, and laid eggs. When the baby spiders hatched, they bit through her skull and ate her brain.
Part 2 about my shitty ex-boyfriend. So like I said, the original plan was for us to go together to his house after school. But I was like, I'm going to be spending the whole week over there. I should probably pack some clothes and get a shower. So after school, he drove me to my house. And he said that his parents wanted to have dinner together, so he had to go back to his house. And he would pick me up later. So when I got to my house, I got ready and everything, blah, blah, blah. And by this time, it was like 8 o'clock. Well, I kept texting and calling him, asking him where he's at, if he's coming to get me still. Then I realized that none of my text messages were going through. So then I go to text him on Snap. And what do you know? I couldn't find him on there. And then I call him off my mom's phone. He answers the phone and hangs up right away. Well, we were supposed to have a little party at his house too, that all of my friends were going to. So I texted every single one of them. None of them answered the phone. And I remembered that my one friend had shared her location with me before. So I went and looked at her location and where was she at? My boyfriend's house. So while I sat at home crying that whole week, he was throwing parties and cheating on me with my friends. And when we went back to school, he acted like we were never...
Hi, this is a story time how I almost got raped. I've been seeing lots of people sharing their story, so here's mine. So, a little background information. I was 10 years old and I was going to one of my really good friends' house at the time. Now, me and this friend, let's call her Alana. Me and Alana were really close at the time, and me and her constantly had sleepovers. They were mainly at her house, but the last sleepover I ever had with her. So basically, it was like 9 o'clock, and we decided to play hide and go seek in the dark. And at this time, her older brother, who was about 14, invited his friend over, which he was like 15. And the last round, her brother was the seeker. But stay tuned for part 2.
Hello everyone, my name is Tashad and I'm a nail tech from London. I began doing my own acrylic nails when I was about 15 years old. I would practice and of course I got it wrong a few times, but I did get it together in the end. I started doing my own nails at that age because I didn't really feel like I was being treated well in the nail salons at the time. They were often really rough and they never really gave me the look that I wanted. I then fell in love with the art of doing nails and it really helped with my anxiety. Being a nail tech really changed my life. I'm able to be creative and support myself, which is such a blessing. I also get to meet such amazing girls along the way. Throughout my years of doing nails, I've really mastered my nail technique. If you want to master your nail technique, join my online course.
Story time. So in elementary school, I had a group of friends. It was 5 of us, including myself. So one of the girls had the same name as me, and for some reason, I knew she didn't like me, and I'm assuming it's because of the fact that we had the same exact name. So one day, the girl that had the same name as me came to us and told us that she was moving to West Bubblefuck. The day before she left, she came to school and gave us gifts. She gave everyone a bracelet and a letter, and I got a statue of an angel. Don't know why, don't ask me why, I don't know. I just knew she didn't like me, and she gave me my gift last too. So then after that, I've never seen her again until a few years. Apparently she ends up coming back to New York, where I'm from, ends up going to the same middle school. I noticed, I think that's where her true colors came out, and she pretty much was showing that she didn't like me, like for part 2. Part 2 of the girl that I went to elementary school that didn't like me for no fucking reason. So years later, I came across her in middle school. That's when her true colors came out. She told everyone she didn't like me and still had no fucking reason why. But then one day she told everyone that she wanted to fight me, and I found out. So I went up to her and I told her, if you want to fight, we can fight. So then the next day she comes up to me in lunch and tells me, hey, we're going to fight at this time, this place, and where we want to fight. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this shit. If you want to fight, we're going to fight in front of everyone. So I didn't tell anyone in my family, not my sister, not my cousin, because everyone was scared of my cousin for some reason. I don't know why. So I told her to just meet me after school at the park by my school. I remember I did not tell anyone. So when I'm waiting at the park for her, I see her across the street. She sees me and then turns around and runs. I was confused on why until I turned around and I saw my cousin. And then from there on, she just never talked to me. She avoids me.
I work as an assistant for a really big fashion company. I had a defective wedding dress and my boss asked if I knew anyone we could give it to. My best friend recently got engaged, so it was perfect. When she posted on Instagram to thank me and my boss, my family caught wind of it, and that's when the influx of calls came. I do not have a good relationship with my family. My parents kicked me out when I was 16 after I came out to them, and my sister wasn't much better. They demanded to know why I gave the dress to my friend and not to my sister. I didn't even know she was engaged. They suggested I try to take it back from my friend, as family should always come first. My sister even tried to call my boss to complain. I just got off the phone with my mom, and this is how the conversation went. She says my sister is very upset about the dress, and I told her she needs to get over it. My mom says I can make it up to them by giving her another dress. I posted one last night on my Instagram. It's a $12,000 dress, and that's the one my sister wants. And I told her, you expect me to give you a $12,000 dress when you kicked me out when I was 16? My mom says, that was a long time ago, and we're talking about your sister, not me. When I refused to give the dress, my mom says the least I can do is help her buy one. At this point, I hang up, and I've been avoiding them since then.